So based on the method we have highlighted before, that we mentioned of straight line method, deducing method, revaluation method, some of the year-digit method, depletion method, sinking fund method, then annuity method. We want to look at the straight line method, which is very simplest method that every layman that is not even an accountant can go into it and calculate and charge the depreciation. Based on a question that we want to solve on the straight line method right now, the cost of the machine acquired in an organization is 10,000 naira, where the residual value is 4,000 naira. Then it is expected to last for 4 years, and the instruction says that we should using the straight line method to prepare the depreciation schedule. And this, if you want to do this schedule or in any way you wish to pronounce it, we need to calculate annual depreciation, and the straight line method is an equal charges for several years that you want to use to charge. That is why it's simple and it's very straight. That is why the topic call it straight line method. So the formula to charge the straight line method is the annual, that's annual equals to cost minus the scrap value or estimated value or residual value, anyone you come across in the question. So then all over the useful life of that asset, of an asset. So which means here to calculate it, we have the 10,000 naira as a cost of machine, which is going to be A equals to this 10,000 minus the scrap value is a residual value or estimated value, which is 4,000 minus 4,000 all over how many years the asset is expected to last for 4 years, which is 4 years. So in this manner, which is A equals to this annual, 4,000 minus 10,000, that is 6,000. The 6,000 all over 4 years. So if you look at it, how many times that the 4 goes in 6, which is 1, just remainder 2. 4 in 20 is 5. These 2 zeros is back to it. So annually we need to charge 1,000 depreciation. That is, yes, in this we need to annually is going to be 1,005 for that depreciation. So to now prepare according to that, the question should prepare the depreciation schedules for each year. So we are going to observe 5 points: year of that asset, then the year, we have year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, based on the questions to last for 4 years. So the cost of the asset, as we know that we said the straight line method, that the cost of that asset. Then we are going to look at the depreciation that we charge yearly. Then we have our accumulated depreciation. Then we need to observe the net book value. We call it NBV, net book value. And that net book value has to do with the cost that you later sell the asset. So the here is 10,000 naira as the year 1, 10,000 naira, and depreciation annual yearly, that is from 12 months rather, making a year 1,500. Since we don't have any initial year before, in accumulation is still be 1,500 naira. So then here, to know our net book value, we are going to deduct this 15 out of 10,000 naira, which will mean that we are going to realize what? 8,500. That is the net book value for that year. So in the second year, it's a straight line method. The 10,000 is still reoccur here. Then depreciation is 15 also. So then the accumulated of depreciation here is going to be 3,000. 15 plus 15 is going to be 3,000 naira. Then the net book value 3,000 minus 10,000 naira, that is going to give us the 7,000. In third year, 10,000 naira. Then the straight line method of charging has already give us this 15. So 15 plus 45 is going to plus 35 is going to be 4,500. So the 45 away from that, the 10,000 naira, we are going to realize 5,500 naira. In the last year, which is fourth year, so 15 also plus 45, we are going to see 6,000. So when you look at this 6,000 away from the 10,000, so it's going to give us 4,000, and that 4,000 is known as what we call residual value. If you calculate this in your table, which we call this schedule, if you don't realize this 4,000, it means there's an error in somewhere. Based on the straight line method, the equals amount is going to be charged. So based on that question, that is this particular here is known as a residual value for that, the first questions. And the second questions, we are going to look at the calculation of the straight line method also based on the machine acquired at 51,200 naira. And also this one lasts for the 5 years, not 4 years. We are going to calculate it exactly the way we solve the first question. So let's make use of this. For the first, the cost of machine, that's 51,200. 51,200. Then it's kept for the five years. So this is going to be 5 years. Then estimated useful life of that asset is 12,150 naira, which means is our residual value or scrap value, 12,150 naira. So let's move further. When we look at this 12,000 away from 51,000, this 51,200 subtract of this 12,150, are going to 0. This is as 10, 5. This is 0. Here 11. That is 9. And this one away from 4. This 39,050 naira. So it's going to be 39,050 naira all over 5. Then to now get this one, how many 5 can we get in that 39? So we are going to get 7. So 5 in that 39, which is 7, and 5 times 7, that is 35, remain 4. So 5 in 40, that is 8 here. So when you look at it, so 5 in 40 now, that is 8. So 5 in 5, and that is 1. This 0 is coming to replace this place. So it means that yearly we are going to charge the straight line method based on these questions at the rate of 7,810 naira. So if you want to move into our schedule right now, we are going to replace the cost of that asset because it's a equal charges for that year, which is 51,200 naira. So for that first year, we realize annual charges for depreciation 7,810. Then the accumulations of accumulated depreciation is going to be 7,810 naira. Then the net book value, so it's going to show us that we are going to deduct this 7,810 away from that this 51,200. So the value of that asset, which is that 51,200, we have looked at that annual, which is 7,810. So accumulated appear at this figure. Then when you subtract this accumulated depreciation from that cost, you get your net book value. The same thing apply in that year 1. We continue to the last year, because the value of assets remain the value. The value of depreciation remain because it's a straight line method. We charge equal amount. The only thing you need to pay more attention is that accumulated is that initial, the residual value of accumulated plus current value of accumulated. You add this figure plus initial figure for the first year, it will give you the second accumulated value. You still subtract accumulated from the cost of that value. So when you subtract it, you get your net book value. The same thing you apply in year 1, year 2, you approach it in year 3 also, which is 51,200, 7,801 as annually. You just pick it from that peak of that a year. You add the depreciation plus this accumulated will give you this figure of 23,430. You subtract this accumulated from the real cost, you get your end book value. Then that end book value is a current value that someone can acquire that asset right now after you have deduct those things that have tear or wear from that asset, which is no longer useful any longer. So if you look at it with the first question we charge here, the last year you look at the cost is still remain, the depreciation is at the same equal, but accumulated you had this initial one with current one. When you subtract it, when you look at it, this figure of 12,150 must be at the same figure being given to you in the questions, which means is known as what? Estimated figures of the asset. Is a residual value. It's the scrap value. That is, the value is not up to the value that you use to acquire this one. We are going to move into another method right away with the same questions. We can use the same questions to charge for different method that they will agree to work on it. So based on this particular straight line, if you use the reducing method, you cannot get the same value due to that of the what? The method that you approach to set. So don't let that one to confuse your mind that I did not get the same question that I've realized in the first method, because method have the different formula. So let's quickly approach the second method. On this particular